It was not an easy catch, but a group of Vancouver Island First Nations has reeled in a new set of fishing rights. The Supreme Court of Canada has upheld a BC Supreme Court ruling, which allows 5 First Nations along the west coast of the island to fish for any species they want and to sell that catch for a profit. The decision is seen as a victory for some Aboriginal leaders, or by some Aboriginal leaders, but for others it is simply an admission that the First Nations have been blocked from their own resources. Scott Cunningham reports.
Fish means a lot to our people.
At the water's edge, Cliff Atleo doesn't rush today. He is soaking in good news after a hard-fought battle.
It was a big sigh of relief. Our people have been struggling for the last 150 years.
Canada's highest court has given something back to Keith's people he says they always deserved. Thursday, the Supreme Court of Canada decided it would side with a BC ruling that allows 5 Vancouver Island tribes to fish any species they want and sell it for a profit.
It's about our health, the livelihood of our people, social and economically.
Our economy is right there in our front yard, and we've been pushed out of it by government policies.
Not everyone is seeing the decision as a victory. Some First Nation leaders saying the High Court's decision proves that the rights to freely fish tribal waters should have always been in their hands.
What the courts have done is recognize our Aboriginal right to harvest and sell aquatic resources.
The Department of Fisheries and Oceans will now take a step back when it comes to regulations on some traditional fishing grounds on Vancouver Island. But the tribes say this does not mean that fishing on their waters will go unchecked.
And Nuu-chah-nulth have always said that they're willing to share the resources here on the west coast of Vancouver Island, and just puts Nuu-chah-nulth back into the fishery in an economic way that they've been excluded from for decades by government policies.
Free from some regulations imposed on commercial and sport fishermen, the Vancouver Island tribes say it's time to get back on the water and get back to a time when the fishery brought jobs and prosperity to a sacred part of their lives.
This water is a part of who we are.
The Supreme Court's ruling takes effect on specific Vancouver Island tribal waters immediately. Scott Cunningham, CTV News, Port Alberni.